Live.
Oh,
Ryan, hit the intro music.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that.
You want to secure your assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably secure.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec podcast.
It worked.
Hey, welcome to the CoinSec podcast. What's up, guys?
We're back.
Can you guys hear me?
No one got
back.
hacked while we were
Is it
gone,
working
right?
at all?
Yeah, right.
I can't hear anybody.
No.
I can hear you, Bo.
I
Is
can hear
something
you,
broken?
Bo.
Uh-oh.
How does Restream always break?
Bo, just go forward. Even
Oh, wait,
though
I hear you
can't
guys now.
us.
There we go.
I hear you.
We gotta jiggle the wire, dude.
Yeah,
you gotta-
well, it's got to stretch out. It's been a while, right?
It's got to
Yeah.
warm
Got
up.
to do some
to
warm ups. Got to, just like the
Get
two
your
amps, you know.
steps
Got to
in, right?
Well, what I was trying to say is, welcome to the CoinSec podcast, episode 60. What's up, guys?
60. All right.
Whoa, we made it. I feel like we're gonna be going to the retirement community.
Yeah, we're getting close to that 65 and a half.
Yeah. Do
Ooh.
you think they're gonna start paying?
How's that investment nest egg
Social
paying
Security.
off? Gotta
Well,
keep
the
tabs
market
on
is
it.
going back up a little bit.
I mean, yeah, roller coaster.
Yeah, right.
Nah, this is standard SOP. What we talked about this. It was tax season, so everyone.
Everybody
had to pay
dumped
their
their.
taxes.
Everybody got their refunds, dumped it into crypto today.
No, I meant like they had to pay their taxes, and that's why they sold a bunch, and then the price went down. And then, everyone who didn't have taxes, I guess, bought it back. I don't know. That's how it works.
What are
All
taxes?
taxes.
This is definitely how markets work. We just decide what decisions people made.
Yes. I mean, it's true.
DAO.
Well,
It's
it's
a
been a
DAO.
couple weeks,
We need a
guys.
tax. We need a tax DAO so we can, I don't feel like paying taxes. this
Yeah,
year.
ooh, the tax down. You just pay in, and like it excludes you for a year or two, right? You get like a little pad.
I have the IRS NFT, so I don't have to pay taxes as long as I hold
Wow,
that.
dude!
Ooh.
Wow. How much did you pay for that?
Basically, let's just say I carried a lot of boxes out of a basement.
Gotcha. Man, I gotta check that out on the blockchain. Can't wait.
Well, guys, it's been a few weeks. We've missed quite a bit here, I think. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. We've got some big stories this week to
Nothing
talk
happened.
about. Got to catch up on some things that happened. If you're listening to the show, make sure to join us in Discord. You can find that link on coinsecpodcast.com, and come chat with us in the live chat channel. And also, if you want to see the show notes for today, I'm going to go ahead and paste those in to the Discord as well. If you want to follow along with any of the stories we talk about today. All right, so first up, guys, we've got a lot of hacks. Hey, so before we start with stories, I want to mention something real quick. So I was doing I'm doing a talk at B-Sides this weekend, and I was doing some research into like the total amount stolen up until like now over the last year and a half. Like, so I did a talk last year where it was around like September, August timeframe, and around that timeframe, around $1.2 billion had been stolen since like September of 2020. So within a year. And what's crazy though is that just Q1 of this year, just since January, there's already been $1.35 billion stolen just in Q1 of 2022.
We need one of those billboards like up on the side of the road, that's keeping the national debt, but instead it's just a Bitcoin theft, right? And it's just a number. That'd be great. Crypto theft. Sorry, not Bitcoin. Crypto.
Say it's for security awareness.
Yeah, like
for security
data
awareness,
sensitive.
yeah.
We need one of those signs. Actually, we should make one of those.
like a news
yeah,
ticker.
like one of the.
Oh,
But
you know what I could do?
Bitcoin.
Oh, so check this out. I made like a 3D printed one of the Back to the Future like little clock things. It just has some numbers in it with like an Arduino. Anyways, but I should make one of those and put it in the background that just keeps track. I mean,
Yeah,
I
days
don't know where
since
the
hacks.
feed-
Days since crypto hacks.
0.
Yeah, it's easy to code. It's just always put it to
It's last
zero.
hack. It's just negative numbers. It's just
That
going
would be
backwards.
pretty sick.
Oh,
All right,
God.
so First story for today. So this is the big one. So a couple weeks ago, and we missed a few episodes. We missed actually talking about this, so we should talk about it in depth here. The Axie Infinity Ronin Bridge was hacked, and so that was $615 million stolen from the
This
Ronin
sounds
Bridge.
like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
The Ronin Bridge was hacked? Is Loki involved?
Loki was absolutely involved.
Oh God! Also, dude, Kim Jong Un's makeup is
Kim
looking.
Jong Il, was that a Freudian?
That-
That's the
no,
previous.
That was the previous guy. His dad. No, his makeup
Yeah.
is looking pretty good there. Like whoever did that is
I mean,
definitely.
that-
They're
he's
going
styling-
pretty hard on
yeah,
the.
and he's
on
styling
No,
with the
that's
hat.
that's nuclear radiation from being too close to the test sites.
Well,
baby skin.
he's actually a big part of the story too, because allegedly, North Korean Lazarus Group has been tied to that massive hack. All right, so Ronin Bridge. What is the Ronin Bridge? So, Axie Infinity, first of all, is an NFT game. So it's a game where you have these little like Pokemon-looking creatures and you fight them, and they're all NFTs. And they decided, and they've been around a long time too. Like this is not a new like game by any means. It's been around, I think, a couple years now. They actually decided to make their own bridge to try to get away from some of the fees around, like gas usage with Ethereum. So they created this Ronin bridge where they have their own wallet, basically, that's custom bridge, custom wallet, tied to smart contracts that they use to connect with the game. And so the Ronin bridge itself, like the thing that's crazy is that just like with like some of the other bridges, you have these validator nodes, and the validator nodes, like if you control the majority of validator nodes, you can perform certain types of attacks against that network. And in this case, you had to have control over 5 of 9 validators. And in that event, if you were able to control 5 of the 9, you're able to actually leverage the private cryptographic keys belonging to those validator nodes to actually steal all of the funds from that bridge. So let's start there for a second, and then move on from that. But guys, so like, what do you think about that first of all? So in order to steal the funds, the allegedly Lazarus Group had to compromise 5 different validator nodes.
I mean, did they like use their own malicious nodes and like fake the like performance of them or whatever to get put into the pool, or did they actually compromise the nodes themselves?
They actually compromised them. And actually, so what's interesting is the company that created Axie Infinity, they're called Sky Mavis. They're a Vietnamese company. They actually have 4 nodes in their own control, and their 4 nodes were 4 that were compromised. So,
So somebody had a weak SSH password, wasn't using keys. How does maybe they stood up their own node and then reversed it or something and found a vulnerability that allowed them to.
It sounds like they hacked one person and they had access to all 4 kind of deal. Which
I think they hacked multiple.
Yeah.
So I think they hacked Sky Mavis, right? I think they got into those nodes, and then there was one other, I can't remember who it was, that controlled the 5th one, that they were able to compromise.
I think the thing that surprises me the most is that there was 173,000 ETH in this random side chain, because that's so much. Like, I wonder how much of that was actually from like players of the game, and how much was just from like the investors, the backers, the company. I mean, you definitely use some classic buzzwords that lead to bad security outcomes, like custom, completely off-chain, side chain, bridge.
Yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah.
Anytime you say bridge, I'm really starting to get worried right now.
Yeah,
also, the fact that they're like, it's decentralized, we only control 4 of the nodes. That's technically decentralized. That's like, I mean, I guess it's crazy. The biggest thing to me that's crazy is that there was so much money in this chain. It's either a big game or there's a lot of people that have invested in these NFTs or whatever.
This is an extremely popular game. So this is one of the first big play to earn games where there are people that literally play Axie Infinity all day long as like a job. Seriously.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
So you have in here that it was attack being socially engineered rather than a technical flaw. So that makes me wonder how that social engineer was, like a C2 rat that was sent to an email address, or was it like the Discord link, or how did they get a key?
Well, they were targeting the devs, right? They're targeting this company, so there's so many potential options there.
Yeah, they're probably working on this for a while too.
Yeah, malicious support tickets. They could have insiders. I mean, it's North Korea, dude. You're talking about well-funded. Also, it's close by, like Vietnam. They might have people actually physically there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely an interesting vector. Hopefully more gets released by the company as the investigation continues. But
so what's that mean for the platform, Bo?
So I don't know what they ended up doing in terms of like paying back their users. I haven't seen any follow up to that yet. But I would imagine that it's not like the end of Axie Infinity because it is one of the more popular ones. I imagine that they'll still probably survive this, but I guess that's to be seen.
Sure.
There's a question: is there a relationship between these 5 validators? So for sure, 4 of them were Sky Mavis. I'm not sure about the 5th one. It was on one of these blog posts, but
there's corporate compromise of Sky Mavis. Probably
it seems that way, right? It seems
that takes 4 of them off the list, and then you need 1 more.
And what's the interesting thing about it is like when we think about bridges, like we think about multi-sig wallets, right? Like generally, like if you said, hey, you need 5 different people to sign, a transaction, like that seems like a lot, right? Like even like if you had 9 spread out, like allegedly in this case. But
right.
is
majority
5 too little, right? Like is that is that number too low?
I think the answer is no, unless 4 of them are at centralized at one place. You know what I mean? Like I think if it's if it's 9 at 9 different entities that have to be compromised and have their own security, that's one thing. If it's 5 as in 4, basically 2. Like 4 with the same keys run by the same company, and 1 that's just a grab bag somewhere else.
Yeah, and like to Steve's point, like how often do we on pen tests find where credentials were used across multiple systems, just like in the SSH case, like you mentioned, like was it just a same password, just on 4 different nodes kind of thing,
right?
I feel like obviously it's a centralized chain. I mean, it's their code, it's their chain, it's their bridge. It's like that's, as an investor or a player of the game, that's a potential risk you take, knowing that you're not just going ERC20, or you're not going, on a centralized or a decentralized network that's already dealt with 51% attacks and dealt with all this other stuff.
Yep.
But I will say, like, you have to draw the trust boundary, so to speak, I think, at the corporate level, because there's always going to be people. It's not like they have some doomsday key system to get into their own nodes, right? Like there's always going to be someone at the company, or the company itself has access to these nodes. So you have to like spread that risk out. I personally, but I mean, it is a low number when you think about, you're talking about like a Bitcoin. How many would you have to control Bitcoin? Way more than 5. Or almost any other pretty much decentralized crypto blockchain. 5 is like, no one would plan that. So
now we're sanctioning North Korea?
I think they were already.
Yeah. So before we get to that part, yeah. So we got a lot of sanctions to talk about today with regards to North Korea, and actually Tornado too in a minute. No. So what's interesting about the whole bridge thing, right? Like, and I think this is what a lot of companies want to do, is they see gas fees on Ethereum, right? And they're like, okay, well, if I want to do any sort of microtransactions, people are going to have to pay a lot of money because of
it's
gas.
Basically a non-starter from a business perspective.
Yeah, I literally just talked to a company like 2 weeks ago that was toying around with that idea too. Like they were like, well, I mean, should we just create our own bridge and create our own, like more gas friendly type of thing. And I was like, given the history of bridges that we've seen, it's probably a bad idea.
I mean, it's like crypto, dude. I mean, or it's like, as we say in the traditional security space, like don't rely on crypto. I mean, there's been vulnerabilities in SSL. Okay, well, that doesn't mean you should like come up with your own way of doing transport layer security. Like, I think there's also alternatives outside of there's Binance, there's other chains that have NFT support that are like lower fees, so that are not just roll your own. But I get it. I mean, dude, think about it like this: you're double dipping from the corporate perspective. You're double dipping. You're getting paid on the fees as people are sending the money because you're running for the nodes, and you're getting, the actual game money too. So it's like I get why you would want to do it and also, even from, that's a cynical way to look at it, but even from a non-cynical way to look at it, you're basically saying, oh, well, we can support this network. That's like, I think to a lot of people, that's a concern, is if it's completely decentralized and everyone just gives up on it, then it dies. But if they run for the validators, it probably stays alive no matter what happens. But
I also think that like this kind of scenario brings up a really important time for any organization to say, all right, so how much do we actually need to rely on blockchain, and how much can we just use like traditional Web 2 stuff, right? Like, can we just track all the game stuff in a database, instead of actually trying to track every single thing, on the blockchain?
Yeah, there's no fee in Postgres.
Exactly. Yep. So in terms of North Korea, though, allegedly, many of the features of this attack mirrored the methods used by the Lazarus Group in previous high-profile attacks, including the location of victim, the attack method believed to have involved social engineering, and the laundering pattern utilized by the group after the event. Actually, this was a really interesting point. So I remember when this first happened, some of this funds immediately got sent to centralized exchanges, and I was like, what is happening? Like that never happens in any of these hacks, right? Like most of the time they always just go straight to Tornado, right? And in this case, they sent it to centralized exchanges and actually cashed out, I think it was like $1 million or $2 million, like right away, on centralized exchanges. And everyone was kind of like, what is happening? Is it like mules? Like how, you know what I mean? Like what is happening there?
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're a nation state, you're not really worried about the law. I mean, like, it's not like North Korea is like, oh no, are we going to get arrested when we, that kind of does point to potential nation state actors when they just don't care. They're not trying to, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's a good question.
I mean, are these centralized exchanges? Are they doing business in North Korea?
Well, so both says centralized, but at the same time in the Elliptic article, they talk about decentralized exchanges to avoid anti-money laundering and KYC. So maybe they used a mix of both, or not quite sure there, but they did launder about 16.7 million of ETH through 3 centralized exchanges as well. So they used both, I think, to do that. So once it goes to a DEX, though, I'm not sure they're tracking abilities there.
Yeah. I mean, it's also interesting, like just reading the sentence at the beginning of the article that just is so surreal to read. The U.S. Treasury Department added an Ethereum address to its sanction list.
Come on.
Okay, interesting.
Got him.
That's like putting a gate in the middle of the street, but like not putting the fence.
I mean, that's
to
like
the
putting up a
sidewalk,
sign that just
right?
says
You can
no
just walk
stealing.
on the sidewalk. Yeah, go around it, whatever.
No stealing allowed. That's like,
Yeah,
well, so what's
just
funny is
don't do it.
that leads us straight
No
into the next
loitering.
article for today, which is an Ethereum developer has been imprisoned for helping North Korea evade sanctions.
How
Oh,
dare
God.
you.
Yeah.
So Virgil Griffith, a U.S. cryptocurrency expert, was sentenced on Tuesday to 63 months in prison after pleading guilty to assisting the Democratic People's Republic of Korea with technical info on how to evade sanctions. The sanctions imposed by the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and Executive Order 13466 forbid the export of any goods, services, or technology to the DPRK without a Department of Treasury license. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. Not a note, a license.
Yeah, so I was originally like, what did he do? Because in my head, he had just someone messaged him on Discord and said, hey, can you help me with this? And he was like, oh yeah, here's how you do it. And then it turns out that was North Korea. But no, actually what happened is he just went to North Korea.
Yeah.
Where do you get off thinking that you're going to go to North Korea and nobody's going to track that? Or like, no, I mean, what do you get off at, in China and then just walk across? People are going to know.
I think you just read too many books about libertarianism. I'm just kidding.
How does North Korea handle passports? Do you get a North Korea stamp?
I think they just take your passport and say thank you. This is my
black light stamp.
Yes, you're here now. You will stay.
Yes.
Yeah. So he apparently gave a presentation in North Korea about how they could use cryptocurrency to launder money and evade sanctions. I'm guessing like the title wasn't how to launder money and evade sanctions. But hey, his slides haven't been publicly
Blockchain
released,
and you.
Blockchain and you, yes.
Step 1, money laundering. It's just like a picture of a guy like shoveling stacks of cash. Yeah, I mean,
or maybe it's Supreme Blockchain and you.
Yeah, according to court documents, he asked to receive his travel visa on separate paper and not on his U.S. passport to avoid creating physical evidence of his travel. Yeah, like Steve said, do you really think that no one's paying attention? Like, I don't know.
I wonder how you get in, because what are you gonna? You
go to China.
You can't go to South Korea and walk across.
No, you go to China. You go to China and you say, and then there's a boat. Like there's like some
train.
Yeah,
they do allow it.
Shuttle service that they probably
no, seriously, they do allow like some people in, and like a lot of journalists have gotten in, and that's generally how it goes. Is you fly to China, and then there's like a boat or a train, or basically the Chinese government kind of is like, oh, this boat is not registered. You can get on it. I don't know where it goes. Like it's kind of a one of those things. But yeah, I mean, just peak stupidity. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure that you guys have been around people like this, but there's some people who are just so smart, but just so stupid at the same time. It's like, this guy being a research scientist for Ethereum, probably a genius, like probably just amazing, mental, blockchain powers.
Right. But where's your common sense?
Yeah. Common sense of like, hey, don't tell the U.S. government I went to North Korea, okay? They're like, okay, we won't tell. Like, yeah, we won't tell. But yeah, so 63 months. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that's fair? 63. What is that in years? That's what, five years. So he'll probably get out earlier than that, right? I mean.
Well, I mean, think about it. So now, basically, what did he just cost a whole bunch of people $600 million worth of financial damage as being part of the reason why Lazarus Group probably did this? I don't know.
I mean, lots of crimes. I mean, we've talked a lot about North Korean hacking, but I mean, it's not like he enabled them to hack. It's kind of one of those things, though. I mean, obviously,
well, it might be an enablement. It might be an enablement. We talk a lot on the show about InfoSec and cryptocurrency arenas kind of crossing, and that's kind of why we made this show, right? Is because we do both, but we kind of see it live here now. The whole because Lazarus Group, we've known about it in the InfoSec community for a long time, but for it to cross into crypto, so maybe this guy goes over there, he gives a presentation, and then they're like, all right, so now we need to ransomware X company. So all the damage that was done over there, plus the financial loss, who knows? It could be.
I mean, I guess
that it was well worth that amount of time in prison, or maybe not.
I guess if you think about
I'm sure the government knows more about it than we do.
Yeah, the sanctions exist for a reason. They were passed their legislation. They if I mail you a schematic for a missile, is that the same as shooting someone? Not necessarily, but the sanctions are passed and they are legislature. So. I do think, I think it's reasonable. It's not like 99 years. I feel like I'd be, if he got a life sentence for this, I feel like it's one of those things he could reform and be like, okay, I kind of fucked up here, probably shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I mean, the other thing to think about that's kind of interesting is like in jail, like, what are you in for? I taught North Korea how to launder money. It's like you have to okay, just sit down. Okay, no, just start telling people you stabbed someone. Like it's easier.
Yeah, I'm sure he went to a white collar jail, but he also got 3 years supervised
He's in there with Madoff explaining how he did it. He's like, Madoff, I got you, man. Let me explain how you could have done it way better.
Let me mansplain this.
When we come out, I got a crypto Ponzi scheme that's just ripe for taking.
This one's good.
But yeah.
All right.
So don't go to North Korea and teach them how to launder money. I mean, just don't go to North Korea unless you're a journalist, honestly.
And even then, to think about
even then, don't go expecting to have no one realize you went.
Yeah.
So on a related note, speaking of sanctions. So this was kind of interesting. Tornado Cash, right? Like the infamous Tornado Cash that we talk about pretty much every week because it's our favorite money laundering site by all the hackers out there.
The Pirate Bay of cryptocurrency.
They have put out an announcement. They are trying to help block OFAC sanctioned addresses, which is kind of interesting, right? Like so CoinMixer Tornado Cash said that it's using a tool actually developed by Chainalysis to block crypto wallets sanctioned by the U.S. Office of Foreign Assets.
Oh my God! But do you see that subtitle? Wait, read the subtitle real quick.
Yeah. The blockade only applies to the Tornado Cash front end, not the underlying smart contract.
So basically, if
it doesn't exist.
So if you're smart enough to steal crypto and then try to cash it out in the web interface.
They got him.
It's
plus,
well, yeah, that's what they said.
How big of a game of whack-a-mole do you want to play? Right? Like this is like that game at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, with the little gophers pop up, and you gotta keep hitting the right one, right, and to get the tickets. But it's just Ethereum addresses, and you can spin up as many as you want. Or if they block one address, send it to another, and then cash out. I mean, come on, it's a great idea, I think, that hey, we're going to do something about it, but I don't think it's anything really.
I feel like taking a cynical approach, I mean, I guess you could argue that same thing about any anti-money laundering things like KYC. Just get a fake ID,
sure.
It's a barrier to entry, and those barriers will add up over time and make it more difficult. I agree with what you're saying. It has to be implemented at the protocol level to really matter, because no one that's stealing $600 million in a flash loan attack also doesn't know how to directly interact with the smart contract and just get the same shit done.
Exactly. I mean, you write your own contract to do the interaction with their contract, and it's just a one click pwn, and you're done.
If taking like an honest approach, like what I think this is really about is it's a PR thing for them, number one, to basically say like they're becoming the Bitcoin of Bitcoin. Like they're becoming like this just means it's for crime. Like they're becoming that. But also I'm sure, I don't know where Tornado Cash is headquartered, but wherever they are, if they're a legally incorporated business, they have to demonstrate some due diligence to work with law enforcement and to have countermeasures in place. They can't just be like, oh yeah, dude, it's the total Wild West. You can steal money and use our platform. That's fine. Like they have to show some level of caring about this kind of stuff. So that's my guess. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it isn't implemented at the protocol level, like that's like me being like, it's like putting up a sign that says no hacking, no stealing, or like putting up a fence in the middle of your sidewalk when you can just walk around. Like,
and the thing that's funny is like, I don't think that. So even if Tornado Cash were to have a mechanism where they could do something like that, right? Which I don't think they do. I don't think there is a possibility of them doing it currently. Some other site would just pop up without that, without the sanctions. Like that's just how this is going to work, right? Like there's always going to be some sort of mixing service out there.
And it's also like we saw with the Versace Bedouin. They use Wasabi Wallet, which is the other kind of Tornado Cash. But at the end of the day, like money, if you're trying to get it to a non-cryptocurrency, that's where they monitor it, So that's, if you start buying Lambos, that's where it starts showing up, not at the point where you're not on the chain, so to speak. But
right.
Still funny. The subtitle, that is the most contradictory subtitle I've ever seen in my life. It's like, onions are bad for you. Subtitle, onions are actually pretty good for you. Like, did two people write this article? It's like OpenSea. I mean, we've talked. This has been done at a lot of different levels, right? Where in the GUI or in the web interface, you can't do it. But then if you just go to the smart contract, the approvals are still valid. Everything, that nothing's frozen. It's still there. It's, bot can still grab it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So moving on. So we've got a couple other hacks to talk about here. The first one is elephant money. So this is Ralph's gonna like this one. Price manipulation via.
I knew it.
What is it? Flash loan attack.
Oh yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Ding ding ding. Bingo card. It's coming. I'm gonna get it.
So far this episode we've had bridges. We've had tornado cash. We've had. Now a flash loan attack. We really should make bingo cards. Come on.
Is there a rug in this episode? If there is, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna leave.
No rugs.
There's gotta have been
at
least 4 rugs. We just can't keep track of them. They're just like
there's definitely rugs out there, but we don't have any in this episode. All right, so the official post-mortem stated a loss of $11.2 million, yet PeckShield later pointed out that Elephant had chosen not to include the loss of 30 billion elephant tokens, bringing the total amount lost to $22.2 million.
Do not sell, say elephant money. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was really looking for financial advice from the company that got, dumped. But yeah, I mean, that's
don't
loans.
sell they're dude, it was pegged to $1 initially. Now I think it's 13 cents.
I think people might be ignoring that. Honestly, might be worse than just saying nothing. Saying don't sell. I mean, I would say maybe they forgot to mention that, but they're elephants, so they never forget.
Never.
So yeah, I mean,
solid dad joke.
I don't understand why people go live with these flash loan. It's so obvious. It's like,
dude, they don't care. They don't care.
It's like the default credentials in cryptocurrency. Like price manipulation by flash loan is literally default credentials. Do not allow this. It's not that hard.
A lot of people do not get involved in this because they're like, oh yeah, we're totally not going to get hacked. They're like, we don't care. We're going to make a bunch of money right now. If we get hacked, whatever, who cares? Maybe we hacked. That's a double rub. Right?
Well, yeah, that's price manipulation when you're running the price.
I mean, it's the Wild West, dude. Everyone's rolling in there, stealing money, making lies and leaving, dude. I
mean, the thing that I don't know if we're going to talk about this article, but I don't know if you guys saw the Coinbase alleged, they kind of got a little bit of heat in the public eye for they've recently, Coinbase has added a lot of, let's call them smaller cryptocurrencies to their platform. And before they did that, people went and did some chain reconnaissance and found that a lot of Coinbase or other insiders were purchasing large amounts of these cryptocurrencies. That's the point. That's the whole point of a decentralized market. I mean, that's not really the point, but it's kind of like the whole Reddit leopards ate my face thing. It's we want a fully decentralized, fully unregulated market. And then, oh no, people are manipulating the market. How is this happening? This is total BS. Well, this is the rules that you agreed to. This is what decentralized is all about. So Ralph's comment about, is it their own double rug? Is it I don't know. I mean, it's decentralized and it's unregulated. So price manipulation, you're not allowed to do it on the stock market because you'll get fined $10 by the SEC. But in cryptocurrency, price manipulation is just part of the game, at least with a completely decentralized market. So
yeah, we'll always check the team behind the project, make sure that they've got the proper avatars, right? Memes and NFTs and
yeah,
real names.
I mean, don't honestly, what it really is that first of all, don't believe what you want to believe. Second of all, acknowledge the risk and be willing to lose it all, no matter what it is. You should not be putting in any money to these projects that you aren't willing to lose. So
and get a hardware wallet, for God's sake.
Well, that too. But dude, how are you going to hardware wallet your way out of a price manipulation attack?
True. That's a good point.
No, I mean, these are all super risky, and everyone who's getting involved.
Good point.
No.
And so speaking of flash loans, there's actually 2 flash loan attacks this week. Beanstalk Farms, an Ethereum-based stablecoin protocol, was exploited during the weekend, with the total losses skyrocketing to over $180 million. As a result, the native cryptocurrency Bean plummeted by more than 80% in minutes.
Not so stable now.
Like many other DeFi projects, the creators of Beanstalk, a development team called Publius, included a governance mechanism where participants could vote collectively on changes to the code. They would then obtain voting rights in proportion to the value of tokens that they held, creating a vulnerability that would prove to be the project's undoing. The Beanstalk attacker used a flash loan, listen to this, used a flash loan obtained through a decentralized protocol Aave to borrow close to $1 billion in crypto.
Beautiful.
$1 billion.
So I saw a reference to this online, a tweet, and I thought it was funny. So basically, it was a meme of how this attack went down, and it was somebody who took a loan from the bank, a big enough loan. I want $1 trillion loan. Now I want to buy your bank, and now I don't have to pay back the loan.
That's so true.
Mean, that's literally what they did. So they used $1 billion to gain 67% control over the voting algorithm, and then they approved the execution of code that transferred the assets to their own wallet. So they literally, that's like Steve said, that's literally what they did. Yeah. This is the level when you're talking about decentralized. I know it's cool to read books by, whoever about how decentralized is the way to go. But then when it's happening to you, oops, I muted because I'm dumb.
I was like, what the hell?
The market has decided that you no longer own your money. Congratulations. You go to the bank. The new ownership does not allow withdrawals. Sorry.
Why didn't anyone think of this attack earlier, though? Seems like such a simple attack, right? Like, all I have to do is have a bunch of money, and flash loans are a thing. So I'm just going to borrow all the money and then say, you owe me money.
It's honestly what it is it's shockingly stupid. It's one of those things that, like, whoever discovered it was probably like, seriously? Can I just do this? Can I just go ahead and just they're reading through the consensus algorithm and they're like, wait, so if I control this, I can approve my own code. It's literally an RCE by like.
Oh my God. Decentralized. Screwed them.
Yeah. Utter chaos in some regards, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get how I know that it's hard to implement all the other chains. Like, they borrowed it on Aave, right? They didn't borrow it on Beanstalk Farms. It wasn't a self-flash loan thing, but I mean, it's just even like, let's take flash loans out of the equation. This is literally just Elon Musk buying Twitter. Like, It's literally just someone rich enough can just buy this thing and steal all the money, which like makes no sense from a governance perspective.
Yeah, you got to have collateral on those flash loans. So I wonder like how much was used to get the flash
loan.
Do
you have to have collateral on the flash loan?
Well, you have to pay it back right away, and I think you have to. And I don't know if in this case you had to have any.
I guess the point is it's easy to calculate the investment. Here's the investment.
Sure.
You get remote code execution, you steal all the money. Whatever the investment is to get that, as long as the money you're stealing is more than the fees, then you're good to go. Like, it's so stupidly easy. I mean, I know, I'm sure the attack itself was very complicated with the contracts, but the concept is literally, if we have enough money, we can steal the money. Like, it makes no sense.
Mick from chat also said, it has to be repaid in the same block, like I said, but no collateral.
Yeah.
They code is law. Code is law. They should have made one rule that just said you can't take all the money. Like,
right?
one rule.
Well, I mean, honestly,
if transfer equals all the money, no.
So honestly, okay, one of the simplest,
AI, dude, that was AI.
Dude, you want to know one of the simplest freaking ways to combat this attack? If you're going to make changes to the code, it doesn't apply in the same block. Like, it has like a cooldown. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways that you can get around this that just
like,
blow my mind.
Legitimately spend the $1 billion, right? Like, you can't flash load it.
And again, we come back to, how is there $180 million in this thing?
Because it's so smart. It was so smart.
It blows my mind that this got that much investment. It's crazy.
People trying to make money. It's a beautiful thing, you know?
Oh, yeah. Beanstalk Farms. I'm in.
Hey,
stable coins. It says stable in the name. It says stable.
It was very destabilized.
I know, it's funny because stable coin goes down in price by 80%. I don't think it's that stable.
Oh God. You know.
Our condolences if you work at Beanstalk Farms.
Sorry. We're sorry that you
We're being
forgot about that
jerks.
rule.
I'm sure it sucks for you, but.
All right, so moving on. Metamask iCloud phishing. So when I read this, I thought this was such a random thing, and I'm actually surprised that it was actually happening. So Metamask has actually issued a warning to the community about Apple iCloud phishing attacks. The security risk is for iPhone, Mac, and iPad users, stems from a default device setting that saves the user's seed phrase or password encrypted MetaMask vault on the iCloud if the user has enabled automatic backups of their app data. So if you use MetaMask on your Apple device and you have automatic iCloud backups, it's possible your seed phrase is just being stored out in your iCloud account.
In the clear?
No, it's not your seed. So it's still password encrypted. So but right. they're using like Hashcat going after the trying to they got a weak password.
I mean, dude,
or it's the same password as their Apple account, which they had to get.
Yeah, so they're phishing
no
right?
way.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would say, as much as it sounds like a security flaw, there's a lot of people I know that have lost their wallets. So I kind of like, I guess it was probably somewhat unintentional, where it's like the Apple doesn't know what's in the app data, right? They don't know that MetaMask is putting the seed phrase in the app data. They're just backing up the app data because that's what they do. So yeah, it's interesting, but I mean, phishing. So only 650K though. That's like the smallest hack we've ever talked about on here.
Well, and we've learned
like
not to store your stuff in the cloud, right? From the Versace Bedouin and partner.
I mean, dude,
stuff up there. So
did we learn that? Because they did prove that you can successfully store $2 billion in Bitcoin in the cloud for like 5 years, and it's completely fine. I mean, the only reason they lost it is because the government subpoenaed the account. That's like the ultimate phishing attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
but hey, Apples and iPads, they're all secure by default, so
they
don't
are.
worry about it.
They are. Everything's secure. Well, I
so
mean,
this
honestly,
is where the hardware, the off,
MetaMask hardware wallet would have saved your butt. In this
debatably, you probably shouldn't be storing high value assets in MetaMask. I don't know.
No, you shouldn't be storing any high value, high value of coins on your phone. Just don't.
I mean, the mobile thing, especially, like, you could lose it way easier than it can get hacked. Like, if you just drop your phone in a lake and that isn't backed up, you just threw $650,000 into a lake. Like,
if you do, I mean, I'm kind of with Corey on this. I think the backup is a smart idea because people probably lose more coins than they get stolen in this attack.
Sure.
But if you do this, obviously just use a strong password and don't store $1 million, which we don't have any indication that anyone's doing that, in your MetaMask that's on your phone. Right?
And be careful about phishing related, always, if you're that kind of whale, you need to be really careful.
Two-factor.
So yeah, so it says they received text messages requesting that he update his Apple ID password, as well as a phone call from Apple with the forged caller ID. So, hello, this is Apple.
Hello.
If you get that phone call, don't.
Apple will never call you ever. They don't even
ask you to reset your password.
They don't care. They do not
care about you. If you get hacked, they still won't call you and tell you got hacked. Okay, like they don't call you. All right, like
not even Tim Cook
could be you. You should have used a stronger password.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that is. I will say on the higher, on the more security recommendation level, if you are using apps, assume that the seed phrase is included in the app data and handle it like that. There are certain apps, like we've talked about with Moodit, like the app, there are apps that like do multi-chain wallets or multi-device wallets and like split up the key on every device, like Keybase as an example, that like no single device has the seed phrase or whatever. But just assume that you shouldn't store everything in one location ever anyway.
Interesting attack, though. I mean, obviously, anytime there's crypto being stored and they can access it remotely, people are going to get, go after it. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially NFTs. The NFTs are the
NFTs.
They seem to be the biggest target.
I guess on a personal level, reduce your attack service personally, right? Don't be out there like, oh, check out my wallet. I got 200 mil in here. Look at these sick NFTs, baby.
Well, that's why the NFTs are a target, because it's literally your profile picture, right? I mean, if I see a person with an ape, I'm just going to go after them.
I know.
I mean, obviously, it's not like you have to, JPEG, whatever. But like the NFT is all about, like, I think that's why it's getting targeted more than anything else, is because the trading is pretty confusing just on like, how like the approvals and the transactions are really hard to read. Like, it's not like send 0.1 ETH to X address. It's like 5 pages of data you're supposed to be reading through a MetaMask, and you're like, looks okay. But also, the public nature of them, who owns them is public, and people like to flaunt them. But
if you want to catch like a bunch of different phishing examples, just make a bored ape as your profile photo and say you got this and see what happens. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know if we have the article listed, but did anyone see the Jack Dorsey NFT? Like, that was like
it sold for like $1.
Yeah, we can. I'm sure Ryan can find a link, but basically there was an NFT that was purchased originally for 2.9 million. The guy thought it was worth 40 million. He listed it. The highest bid was like, I think it was like $1,200 or something.
Yeah, and I think it was from Jack Dorsey himself.
You
it
mean he bid on his own NFT? That'd be
exactly. He wants.
But yeah, I mean, basically, I guess to sum it up, let's just say there's some volatility in the NFT market.
What? No way. Dude.
I mean, that'd be a solid tax write-off.
I mean,
that's actually an interesting point, right? Because
wasn't that the same with like the Melinda Trump or whatever? She had an NFT and she bought it back.
Yeah,
she bought it herself.
Dude, that's actually that's actually a very interesting. I mean, I think. On one level, it's the NFT market is insanely volatile, and just because you bought it for 2.9 mil doesn't mean it's worth 2.9 mil. But also, like Bo said, that's an interesting tax write-off. If this guy's a billionaire, I mean, that's basically a $2 million deduction. Although if you're rich enough, you don't pay taxes anyway. So now that I think about it now.
Yeah. Rich people don't pay taxes.
He's got all that unrealized gains, right? But yeah, I just, that was a funny thing that happened.
Imagine if somebody hacked him, stole it, and then could only get that much.
someone spends months phishing his iCloud account to steal this 200 or this NFT, and then they steal it, go to sell it, and it gets a bid of $280. They're like, oh man, that wasn't even worth lunchtime. Like, we spent more on pizza than we got.
Which you don't need the NFT to go see the tweet. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Is there a cross-site scripting article that we're going to cover?
Yeah. So the next one is an XSS on Rarible. So Palisade Consulting Group, they found and reported a cross-site scripting vulnerability and WAF bypass affecting Rarible. An attacker could inject arbitrary HTML and JavaScript on their profile page, which persisted, so it's stored cross-site scripting. And then and it would persist as they navigated around the website. The exploit would have allowed for an attacker to modify the smart contract interactions for every page accessed after loading the vulnerable page, including changing the recipient address, item price, or granting token spend approval to the attacker. So this is really interesting because, like, as an attacker, I could just create a stored XSS and a fake profile page, send you a link to my profile page that I've crafted with that XSS, and now any other pages you visit after that, your browser will cache that XSS payload in your probably cookies, I imagine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if you could do a remote like cookie stealer, right? And then just log into OpenSea as them. Is that right? Or would you still have to sign your MetaMask then?
Well, so this is Rarible, but
it's JS injection.
Well,
right?
either way, right? I mean, whatever platform it is, if you've got cross-site scripting and you can steal their cookies for the site.
I don't think Web3 uses cookies, does it?
Oh no. So it wouldn't
I think
work
it depends
in
on the site.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, so any transaction you would do after that, you would have to approve with your wallet.
Approve, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not gonna approve things automatically, but if they can modify what you're seeing on the page, it can make you think you're buying something or selling something to somebody that is not actually real.
Well,
right? Like,
you can even drop files with stored cross-site scripting. You can do like embedded HTAs and things like that.
Well,
so
I think
there's a lot of opportunities there.
If I had to guess, the vector would kind of be the human vector, where you're looking at a website that says purchase NFT, this address. Then when you actually go in the transaction, it's a different address, right? But it's like that's easy to mess up. If you're looking at the page and it says purchase or sell or whatever, and there's one address, and then that's modified by JS to look legitimate. Then when you go in the actual token or the approval in MetaMask, it might be a different address, but you just click through it and say approve, and then bada bing.
Yeah, that's why all the hardware wallets ask you to approve the transaction, double check your address. So.
Well, yeah, but again, it's hard when you're scrolling through, 5 pages of a transaction. Like,
when it gets hard is when you start to get on a DeFi app and you got like 45 damn approvals to do the smart contract. And you're like, oh, I'm going to check every one. It'll be like,
or if you're a mobile user and you got MetaMask on your phone and you're not using a hardware wallet, like a lot of people, and they're just buying on their phone. I mean, they're not looking at like the actual data,
No, yeah. Basically JavaScript can do many evil things.
Evil script.
Yes.
Even if it can't just steal all your money, it can make you do stupid things.
Faux show.
So I guess like moral of the story is, good on the vendors for fixing the vulnerabilities, but as a user, you should definitely be super careful. Don't follow links. Honestly, just don't like trade with people. Like it's just a bad idea in general. Like if somebody DMs you and says, hey, I want to trade you or I want to buy this from you, it's probably not a good idea. Honestly.
Well, so the stored XSS could be used as kind of a watering hole thing too, though, right? If you're say you're snapping up all the NFTs of a certain type or a certain variety, you go to someone's profile that holds one of these NFTs, now you're infected. You have this JS
or even like typo squatting, right? Like Bored Ape, like you could do like BOARD or something, as your profile name, and somebody mistypes it and types the wrong one in, they go to your profile, bam,
Yeah. I think it's one of those things. I mean, we don't have details on how much was stolen or whether any was, stolen. It's not like anyone has come forward and said, oh, I got $100 million stolen from me with this, or it's more just kind of an interesting, we're talking through the potentials of this vulnerability. But yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, when you are trading high volume, high value assets, you should be manually reviewing what address is it going to, what transaction am I approving, that stuff. I mean, it's not like you would just, I guess we've seen examples of people doing it, but be very careful when you're dealing with something worth, more than you can just throw away and not care.
And slow down, take your time,
Yeah.
Read and be very cognizant of everything that's happening.
Reading is hard.
I don't like
That's why I listen to podcasts.
All right. Yeah. It looks like, Steve, did you throw something in the end here?
Yeah, I did. So I've been on this whole fitness kick lately, losing some weight, getting some muscle, right? And I saw this interesting project called Stepn kind of taking off. STEPN. It's actually on Solana and also pegged on Binance Smart Chain. So what Stepn's deal is, basically you buy an NFT. It's like a shoe with different attributes and things like that, right? You can even rent these NFTs out to other people who want to go get Stepn, quote unquote. But basically it's a lifestyle app that you install on your phone, turn your GPS on, you go outside and walk or jog or run. And this will track that and reward you in the cryptocurrency for doing that. So pretty interesting. I mean, we've seen things like that, with like Strava, fitness apps, things like that, but nothing really rewards you monetarily in that sense. So a couple things I wonder, like right now the price of Stepn is like $360, $370 right now today. So
like $3.70.
300 or $3?
$3.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta get in. I'm ground floor here.
Yeah, you can still get in, right? Now the NFTs, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the price of the NFTs, but those will obviously cost you a little bit more. Yeah.
Do they got the Back to the Future one? The Nikes?
With the air pump, like they dry themselves out.
Yeah, that's the only one I want. Yeah, weirdly.
So the little caveat to this is you gotta, you can go download the app right now and install it, but you got to get on their Telegram or Discord. They give out 2,000 sign-up codes a day to kind of limit the amount of people because it's getting really popular really fast.
Yeah.
So they only give out a certain amount of activation codes a day. So you got to get on their Telegram or Discord and do that. But I mean, it's interesting, right? Interesting way. They talk about being carbon negative. I don't know, whatever carbon good is. Negative, neutral, maybe.
Looking at the screenshots, I can't wait to see people trying to run and then running straight into a sign because they're trying to check, am I in the green zone? Oh, I got to check my zones. Oh, shit. And then they just run into
so if you go too slow, you don't earn.
Correct. If you go too slow, you don't earn. Also, you know, there's like min-maxing of, you know, what gems you have equipped. It's like gamification, right?
Yeah, they have anti-cheat mode too. No strapping this thing to a donkey or bird or
I don't know how
something.
that's going to work. Why can't you just strap it to something that runs at the same speed as a human?
I mean, so what? A dog? Just a little puppy mill of dogs running around.
I mean, strap it to a sheep, dude, or a sheep. I mean, Steve had the idea of strapping it to a duck.
A duck.
I think that
makes sense when you're
migration season. Man, you got hundreds of miles under your belt.
Yeah. I mean, this is very cheatable. Let's be real. I mean, obviously, there's the app. There's like, I'm sure they have anti-cheat built in, but maybe don't put your life savings into shoes.
Wait, NFT shoes. You're gonna need real shoes.
Yeah, NFT shoes. Yeah.
You know, they should have like a smart sneaker that's like integrated with this that like has, you know, the tracking already built in the sneaker. So it's like an NFT real sneaker. That'd be cool.
That being said, I'm totally going to do it because I run way too much. And
you can rent too. So you don't have to go buy your own NFT.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a bunch of NFTs. I'm going to rent them to Corey and make more money.
And that's the first time I've ever seen any mechanism like that. I don't know, Bo, have you seen anything like that where you can kind of loan your NFT out to somebody else and let them gain, you know, get gains? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
You like exercise, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, so Sandbox has kind of a similar thing where you can buy land and then you can rent your land to builders. So like, if you know, for whatever reason you owned land and you didn't want to build like a game on your land, you can actually rent the land to a builder to build a game.
You know who should start this? Should be like insurance companies. You get a discount on your health insurance if you you know, run a certain amount of distance or something. Smart health, man. It's the future.
Cool. Well, it's been a good show, guys. I think that's it. Any other last words before we sign off here?
Stay safe.
Stay safe, yeah. Don't get rugged or...
Watch for phishing. I saw an email from... There was still some fallout. We talked about the MailChimp attack that happened a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. There's still some fallout from that where basically there's a lot of email lists going around. There's a lot of phishing campaigns going around. So stay extra safe, stay extra careful. Don't click anything. Think through what you're doing. Look at every link. So
anytime an email has a call to action, right? You should think about
it. Right. This email is trying to get me to do something.
Right now. Like not tomorrow or, you know,
your hardware wallet doesn't need you to do anything. You already paid them. They're good.
I mean, hey Ralph, if you get that email with the latest helium miner drop, you know you're going after it, man.
I double triple click, man. I can't help it.
Yeah, but then when MetaMask pops up, that's when you slow down.
Like, whoa.
Whoa there, cowboy. What are you doing?
We know these guys don't take crypto. That's different.
Yeah, really, they don't take crypto.
They want that money.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. If you made it this far in the podcast, thanks for listening. And go subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. And we'll be back next week with more hacks.
Sweet.
All right,
Bye.
Later, everyone.